All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Applied Sensory and Consumer Science Certificate Program information session. I am Christy Craig, and I'm here to help you today with any questions you may have about the program. We very much want this to be your information session. So while I do plan to provide an overview of the program, I welcome you to ask as many questions as you'd like to make certain that you are going to get all the information you need to identify if this program is right for you. You are welcome to send questions as they come up via the Q&A feature, or wait until the end of the information session during the dedicated Q&A time. Regardless of when you ask your questions, I will be sure to answer them all by the end of this session. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I'd like to introduce you to your support team. So feel free to reach out to me. Again, my name is Christy Craig. I am your enrollment coach. I am here to assist you with everything from start to application approval of this program. I can answer any questions that you have throughout. I'm also able to assist you with the application process itself. Heather Ogle is our program team manager, and she is able to assist you once you have an approved application through the completion of the certificate. So we are here to help you throughout the entire program. Looks like I already have my first question. Let me make sure that you have the audio. Let's see here. Audio is very back, lots of feedback. Is anyone having trouble hearing me? Please go ahead and put information into the Q&A if you're having trouble with the audio or visual. You should see a big old picture of me and Heather on the screen right now. All right. Looks like everything is good. Hopefully that resolved itself. So I'm going to go ahead and continue moving forward. Thank you so much. All right. Let me go ahead and jump to our agenda. So here's a look at the agenda for this session. I'll be briefly discussing the history of the program, the logistics of working within the program, and financing options. I'll also be available for questions at the end. And then we're going to hear from our program instructors throughout pre-recorded video to discuss the course descriptions and a little more program insight. And then I'll make sure that I address all your questions by the end of the program. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. All right. So our program began in the year 2000, and the co-creators of this program are your current instructors. The focus of this was to offer accessibility for the working professional from anywhere in the world, and the online version was created to do just that. We're thankful to have been able to reach over 25 countries throughout the world and 23 different states in the US. October will begin our 22nd program cycle, and we hope to offer many more in the years to come. All right, these are our instructors and the co-creators of this program. So I'm now going to play a brief video that will be from our wonderful instructors and give you a little more insight to the courses that they teach in the program.
Hi, welcome to the Applied Sensory Consumer Science Certificate Program from UC Davis Extension. I am Becky Blybaum. I teach courses 1 and 4, and I also am Chief Sensory Officer at Tragon Corporation in the San Francisco Bay Area.
My name is Jean-Xavier Guinard. I'm a professor of sensory science at the University of California at Davis. I will be teaching courses 2 and 3.
When we started the program, there was really nothing like this that existed, and we got together. We all have a passion for sensory science and teaching, and JX is a professor on campus, and I actually work for at a business in San Francisco, and we apply these methods on a regular basis. So everything we've learned from applications from a business perspective, we've tried to put into this course. From product development issues, from quality control issues, from just looking at products out in the marketplace and what they represent, and also ad claim substantiation.
This was truly breakthrough innovation at the time, and we're very glad that we took the lead on this initiative and that it's become such a successful one today.
we really intended to have 25 students per year. We thought that would be a great goal, and we'd do this for several years. And it's turned out over the years, we've had consistently over 50 students per cohort. We've graduated over 750 students and from 35 countries around the world.
All right. So I am going to go ahead and put a link into the chat. And this is going to be a link to our program page as well as the application. So please do see the chat function for that. Go ahead and adjust that to reach everybody. Wonderful. So I dropped that in there. Our next cohort cycle begins October 2nd, and we are already accepting applications near fill. So let me go a little bit further into the program and then we'll continue to discuss those topics. So the screen up now, this is where you will begin your journey. You'll be able to complete your application right there online, and it's accessible through the link I just provided. We'll run it through the process, and once we verified that you've meet all the requirements, then we'll set you up to join the current cohort. There is still room currently available for enrollment. However, I will note that we have already received more approved applications than there are remaining seats available. So if you are looking into joining our current cohort, which begins October 2nd, it is vital that you submit an application right away. We will review those. It is a free application. We take about 24 to 72 hours to review those applications, and then enrollment will come on a first come, first served basis. In order for you to guarantee your seat, you will need to register for the first class, which the cost of that we will go into a little bit further, but it is $2,200 per class and a one-time enrollment fee of $125. So a free application and then enrollment to guarantee your seat in the remaining cohort of $2,325. Technically, cutoff is next week. However, we will continue to enroll until filled, although I do not think it will go past much of next week. So please do take note of that. There is urgency if you are interested in joining this upcoming cohort. All right, so let's talk about what you will need to be able to qualify. So you must have completed a college level statistics course. Statistics is a very large component of courses 2 and 3. So you'll have to have a good grasp of how to use it. We have chosen the statistical program R during the course of our program. You do not have to already have the understanding of R met as a requirement. We will be able to have that taught to you throughout the program. And then the one prerequisite for the application at this point is to have that statistics course completed at time of application. So know that this late in the game, you would have to have a stats course fully completed no later than October 2nd. So we are asking at time of application at this point, this late in the game, that you do have that completed. All right, jumping into a little more information. The Applied Sensory and Consumer Science Certificate Program is sequential. So each of the courses builds onto the next, and you must successfully complete all 4 courses of the program to earn your certificate. Successful completion of a course is a grade of C or higher, and these are the 4 courses that are available for our program. They are set courses and they are in order. It is a cohort platform, so you will start with the first course October 2nd, and I'll be showing the schedule a little bit further. There is a 1 to 2 week gap between courses, so it's not stacked right on top of each other, but it will continue over the next 12 months. All right, let's hear from our instructors to take a deeper dive into the subject matter of those 4 courses.
So this program is truly unique because you start with the foundations of sensory science and understanding the basics of behind the methodologies that we're going to use. You then apply that to sensory evaluation of products. Then you go into consumer testing for those products and services. And then in the last course, you wrap everything up by applying everything you've learned into designing better products and services.
There's a lot to this science, right? So we want to understand the foundations and then sensory methods, consumer methods, and applications. And
So it's a very complex subject matter, and it needs to be approached scientifically, which is something a lot of people don't realize. And I think that's the main contribution that we've made is, and the people before us, like Rosemary Pangborn, really turned this into a scientific field, which involves a lot of psychology, statistics, psychophysics, physiology. So it's really a very complex group of disciplines put together to better understand the sensory properties of foods and other consumer products, as well as the consumer needs and how we meet those needs by designing better products.
so the first course that we teach is the foundations of sensory science. And it starts out with some physiology and some anatomy and how the sensory system works. And we get into psychophysics and measurement and some scale use, not as much as in later courses, but it's really an introduction and lays a foundation for the program.
So in the second course, we talk about sensory evaluation methods, which is a very broad term to describe all the analytical methods we use to understand the sensory properties of consumer products. And we spend a lot of time on difference testing or discrimination testing or similarity testing. And then we go into descriptive analysis methods. In addition to covering those two broad sets of methods, we also cover statistics, both univariate and multivariate statistics. And we have you do a lot of those. And so many of the assignments will have you become top-notch statisticians. Look forward to that.
Yeah, they're happy when they get to course 4.
So in the third course, we talk about consumer testing methodologies. That's the time when we focus on how do we determine consumer needs and interests, and how do we design products to maximize the acceptance of those products. So we still do a lot of coverage of different methodologies. We spend a lot of time on statistics as well. We build on what we learned in the second course, and we do things like preference mapping, which are multivariate statistical applications to consumer data.
All right. So here is the schedule for our upcoming 2023-2024 cohort. This is an annual fall start program that completes in 12 months and is currently accepting applications and registrations until filled. Our cohort maximum is 60 students, and we do generally max out over the last few years. So I'm anticipating with us being down to our last few seats that we will be hitting that maximum again for this upcoming cohort. So that's a wonderful networking opportunity. We have already received more applications than available slots. So again, I urge you that if you are interested in enrolling for this upcoming cohort, that you do jump in right away and submit your application. Once the last spot is taken, applicants who have not enrolled but do have approved applications will be added on a wait list based on when you submitted your application. Also, those that are past the wait list can defer to the next year's cohort if that is of interest to you. So please don't hesitate, submit those applications right away, and you'll be offered the opportunity to register for any remaining seats. Also, as you can see, the courses are offered pay as you go for your convenience or your employers. You are welcome to pay fully up front if that's what fits into your employer's budget, but it is completely up to you. Also, I'd like to point out that you earn 16 academic units from this coursework. So those are transferable based on any program that is accepting of those units. Upon successful completion of all 4 courses, you will earn a certificate in applied sensory and consumer science from UC Davis Continuing and Professional Education. All right, so let's talk about the logistics of this program. This is a fully asynchronous program, but it is module based. So by no means is this a self-paced program. I know there's often questions about the difference there. So what this means is there are no set class times, but you will be released an entire week's worth of work, text, assignments, lectures to review, and those are all due by the end of the week. So you will have deadlines throughout each week of work that must be completed. You cannot skip 2 to 3 weeks at a time. It is something where you will need to be engaged week by week. Now, even though the lectures are pre-recorded, you do still have access to your instructors. By all means, they are there to help you and make sure that you are gaining the most from this material. So they will host a live open office hour with the instructor and your classmates. And we encourage you to attend these live discussions on the weekly topics and test prep. However, they are fully optional. So if the time of day or your schedule conflicts, these open office hours are recorded, so you will not miss any content. Please just make sure that you have time to review those as well. We recommend for success in this course, anywhere from 7 to 12 hours per week to make sure that you meet all of your deadlines. So each of the courses are approximately 69 days. It dials down to anywhere from 10 to 11 weeks each. And you would need a grade of C or higher in order to successfully complete your course and move on to the next. The requirements for earning your certificate is successful completion of all 4 courses, paying your certificate fee of $125, and then having a 0 account balance at the completion of your certificate. I do see there is a raised hand. We don't have the opportunity for live discussion, so please do feel free to add your question to the Q&A feature. All right. So let's go ahead and move on to our final snippet from our instructors to give you a little more idea of the structure and the community that you'd be joining.
So the way the program works is for each of the courses, you're going to have 10 lessons, which are going to be put online every week. And then you're going to go over those materials, and then you're going to post questions and answer some questions from your peers or from us on the forum. And then at the end of each lesson, or after 2 lessons, you'll be asked to take a quiz. And then at the end of the course, you take a final exam. And then throughout the course, you have a number of assignments, and you have to complete those assignments, the quizzes, and the final exam to get your final grade.
Yeah, most of the learning, what we've heard from students is that the value that they get out of the course is one thing to read the materials, do the homework assignments, and participate in the class. But most of the learning really comes from the discussion boards and the dialogues you have with each other. We learn a tremendous amount from students and the issues you're dealing with, and you learn from each other, from students around the world. So definitely the discussion board is a big part of this program.
So Becky, what's your favorite part of the program?
It's hard to pick one, but I have a lot of favorite parts. And I think the global nature of our student population and what we learn from everybody around the world, a lot of companies, a lot of these multinational companies are testing in every part of the world now. And it's really interesting to understand behavior and have students in those programs, and they talk to each other, and we learn a lot from them.
For me, it's really the interaction that takes place among the participants in the course. There's the forum. There's an opportunity for them to ask us some questions, but to ask each other questions and raise issues. And in the end, I think we learn just as much from them as they learn from us. Another very cool part is that we work with top-notch professionals. So the way the materials are put together, the way they're delivered, I think we're up on the latest technology, and we take advantage of it. And we're just extremely grateful to be part of such a program.
Right, and the program's evolved over the years. And you think about where technology was when we started the program versus where it is today, and it keeps evolving. And this team stays on top of it. They're always kind of pushing us to the next level. So it's fantastic to have their support. In sensory, it's a small world, really. And like I said, we have about 750 graduates, and a lot of those graduates do attend these conferences, global conferences, the Pangborn Symposium, Eurosens, any other conferences in sensory. So we have had luncheons. We try to get together with students at those luncheons, but you should also connect with your fellow colleagues if they're going to be there, and meet them in person. That's a really nice combination of the online learning and then the in-person experience.
Yeah, you're going to become part of a very special and select group of professionals.
All right. So as you heard, we encourage you to be as active in the course forums as possible. This will allow you to meet a great new networking resource through your fellow classmates in this wonderful niche community. Course materials will be published and distributed by Conala Incorporated. Each course pack is designed specifically for your class, and the course pack includes all of the required readings, materials that you'll need in one place. So all of your journal articles, your essays, your case studies, everything will be there for you. And you'll be able to reference and use those resources throughout the entire course. So they can be purchased in both print and digital formats. Just know that there is the cost ranging anywhere from $100 to $150 per course for those materials that is built on top of the tuition. A lot of our students have their employers sponsoring them. So I just like to highlight that that would be an additional cost that you would want to build into that tuition reimbursement. Okay, let's go ahead and jump into one of the main questions that comes up. What happens when your employer isn't the one paying for it? So that's where financing your certificate comes in. Suzette Odom is our financial advisor, and she would love to discuss financing your certificate with you. Also, courses are pay-as-you-go, so you can pay all up front, or you can pay gradually through each course when you enroll quarterly. Currently, we unfortunately do not offer any international lending options. I know this is a question that comes up, and while I wish we did, that's just not something that we currently have available to service. But I will go ahead and drop a link in the chat to Suzette that you can schedule to finance with her, time to discuss, whatever works best for you. Please do reach out and have those conversations about financing your education. For domestic lending, this program is fully VA approved. We also have private student loans available. And then again, if you are looking for tuition reimbursement through your employer, that is available. Also, if they're looking to finance upfront for you, we can work through those tuition funds and enroll you with a PO and then invoice your employer directly. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into questions. That concludes the portion of our session. Now it's time for your portion. So I'd love it if you would please utilize the Q&A feature, and I'll do my best to answer all of your questions. I'm also going to launch a poll. If you would please take a few seconds to complete that, just on the feedback for this session. Thank you. All right, I'm going to launch that now, and it looks like some questions are filtering in, so I'm going to jump into those too. All right, so the first question we have, is there a payment plan option available? So as far as financing your education, you can pay per quarter as you go. Each course is $2,200, or you are able to take out student loans and pay those back based on the plan of those student loans. And let me go ahead and jump back here to our schedule, so that way you'd be able to see the payment deadlines. So right here we have our payment deadlines, our withdrawal refund deadline, and then the start date of the quarter. So please know that each of the classes are $2,200, and there is a one-time fee of $125 for the certificate fee. Also, there is the cost of the course reader. You absolutely want to build that in if that is something that you are receiving sponsorship for your tuition. All right, the next question. What is the profile of students? How advanced in their careers are they typically? We really do see quite a variety of different students for this program. Most do tend to have a degree in one area of the field. We try to reach out to our students to identify what their goal is when we're building out courses like this. And it seems that this course, or this certificate, seems to be more geared towards those looking to advance their career, or those looking to have a career shift They may currently be working in research and development. Now they're looking to work more on the consumer side. This is a nice bridge area where it allows you to pivot your career path while still staying within the applied sensory realm. So again, it's a very niche community. It tends to be a little more difficult to move from one area to another without going back and receiving some form of a formalized education. That's what this certificate was created for. Give that room for advancement within the career field. All right, the next question is, can you please talk about the statistics course requirement? Would completing a statistics course in college within the last 10 years qualify? Absolutely, thank you. I meant to expand a little bit on that prerequisite, so thank you so much for answering that question. Yes, your academic courses do not expire. So if you took statistics 10 years ago, not a problem. I do recommend that if you have not been currently using it in your career field, that either you take a refresher course or you brush off your old textbook just to become a little more familiarized with it. Also, I'm more than happy to provide some links to R. That tends to be, and it is available on our website as well, that tends to be the refresher that most need to kind of bring everything back to life with statistics. So yes, if you have met that in your prior schooling, that's all you need. You will be required when submitting your application to this program to attach an unofficial transcript. Unofficial PDF form is absolutely preferred. Please download that and you will attach it to your application when you apply, and that's all you'll need to verify that you've completed statistics. Thank you again for that question. All right, the next one that came up, what is the percentage of students that receive a certificate versus those who fail? I will say that I don't have stats on the top of my head. However, we very rarely have students get to the point of failing a course. Truly, if you are failing one of our courses, you are not logging in, you are not engaged. Our instructors meticulously work with our students to make sure that not only are they completing the coursework, but that they're understanding and gaining with each and every class that they participate in. So it is truly vital that our instructors support the students, and they really wouldn't have it any other way. So if you get to the point of potentially not passing a course at any point, if you're falling below a B, I would recommend that you reach out to your instructors if they're not already trying to contact you to figure out additional support that we can assist with for you to be successful in this program. Those that do not successfully complete the certificate are generally those that do not sign in. All right, the next question. Let's see. Would the material covered in the program be different than what was covered in the undergraduate classes? I will say absolutely. Even with food and science, different aspects of the undergraduate degree, our courses are taught at a graduate study level and earn you 16 academic units towards a master's. So it's definitely going to be more intricate in regards to the detailing and the different methodology. In addition, it is going to be the latest and greatest of materials. So depending on when you took your undergraduate studies, there's always something changing in this industry, and this would provide you not only a formalized education that would allow you to move forward with your education, but also provide you current networking as well as the new processes and policies throughout the industry. Okay, next question. Do the professors offer extra credit opportunities? You know, I don't know. I have never actually asked the instructors if they offer extra credit. I wouldn't imagine that it would be needed if you're completing through the courses, but I'm sure that's something that if you decide to proceed with the program, if you're not happy with your grade, I'm sure you could reach out to the instructors and request additional extra credit opportunities, but with the working professional, we do keep our program at a part-time level of 7 to 10 hours a week, so that way you can have that work-life balance while adding in this extra component. So I'm not sure, but if you're asking for more, I'd imagine that they would be open to that conversation. All right, what other questions do you have for me? I am going to go ahead and end the poll. Thank you so much for your feedback. I greatly appreciate that. And I am also going to drop my contact information into the chat. So if you would like to discuss any further, please feel free to schedule an appointment with me. You can always give me a call or email as well. But I have dropped my Calendly link in, so you are more than welcome to schedule time with me on my calendar if that works best for you. Excuse me. All right, our next question. Is the certificate focused on the understanding the sensory science in the food and beverage industry in general? Or are there more focused approach to the specific industry? For example, I'm a coffee professional. I love coffee. It is not just for food and beverage. I will say that we have had many different platforms come in over the years. We've had everything from textiles to water filtration, different cosmetic brands, and then also food and beverage. So it is a large variety. Our cohort will have 60 students. So far, I have not had a group enrollment. So we are looking at potentially 60 very unique individuals in varying industries that will be able to collaborate. All right, what other questions do you have? I'm going to go ahead and jump forward here. So if you have any additional questions, please do feel free to reach out to me. You can send me an email. I'm more than happy to discuss anything that you have there. You can also schedule time on my calendar, like I stated. However, we are going to be closed on Monday for Labor Day. So do know that it would be an appointment next week if you are interested. Feel free to reach out to me by email or phone. And if there are no more questions, I will thank you so much for attending. And I really look forward to having you join our cohort. And I will be looking for your applications. Again, those require about 24 to 72 hours with the weekends. So that way we can review those and get those back to you with your approvals. At that point, you'll be provided the link to register. All right. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining today. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful weekend.